Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sarge Smash, welcome, come on in. Welcome to the eve of pre-order launch day. I don't have it all sorted out yet. But the book pre-orders go live tomorrow, October 1st. My 14th anniversary, my wife and I's 14th anniversary. So we're also looking forward to that. We are going to celebrate our marriage anniversary, go get some sushi, and also celebrate the launch of the pre-orders. I hope you enjoy. Bitmap just put out this really cool extra graphic here. This came from an email that has a countdown. You hope you can get the fancy version. They're limiting it to 1,000 copies worldwide. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I don't know what Bitmap's plan is to eventually do any other slipcovers or not, or if they're only doing this for launch. But if you want the full deluxe version, you're gonna have to be ready for that. I believe, let me give you an exact time here. Eastern Daylight Time, it looks like it's 12 o'clock noon. So 12 o'clock Eastern, that's 11 a.m. for me. So good luck to you, and thanks for the support, Smash. I appreciate it. In the meanwhile, we're gonna play some Ultima 6 tomorrow. I was thinking I might do a special event. Might do like a special stream tomorrow, and I was wondering what to do, and that might just be I might just pop in every, like, what if we took a short look at like every RPG, like the intro of all of them. We could start from variety stream. We'll start from 7th Saga and show off the intro to 7th Saga, and then move on to ActRaiser, and then Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Eye of the Beholder, and just go on down the list alphabetically. We could do that tomorrow. That could be fun. And then I'll have to figure out something else for when the book actually launches. Yeah, we could do that for sure. I'd like to do a giveaway once the book actually launches, so I'll have to plan for that. Where am I going? There's an Ultima game here. Where am I going? So okay, we gotta use the Moonstone. The Moonstone. There is no what is it? There's no product page up yet for the Bitmap book listing for the definitive book of Super Nintendo RPGs. So also keep an eye out for that. That should be popping up in the next 24 hours. I'll probably push it out on socials once it's up online. I had the pleasure of writing the product page description myself, so I know it's going to be a very accurate description of the book. There are a lot of questions out there about what games this book covers and what what it's about. I think one question that popped up a couple times that I thought was pretty thoughtful was what is the difference between my book and the JRPG book that Bitmap already put out. Let me see here. We are going to go for did we do Honesty already? I think we did. Honesty was yesterday. Did we? I can't even remember what we did yesterday. I think we did do the Shrine of Honesty yesterday. So then Compassion we did. Valor is next. So we're going to go over to Jelom. This is the only way to play this game. Once you figure out the moon gates, holy smokes. I could not imagine like just hoofing it the whole time around this game. Gotta remember, stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Okay. Yeah, because what which ones did we do already? We did honesty, compassion, justice, spirituality. So we still need to do valor, sacrifice, honor, and humility. So valor is the next one. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. These guys usually just give like basic information. Not a single shrine have we liberated. The gargoyles fight like demons. Okay. Yeah. That's pretty much all he says. I have a sneaking suspicion that I've been here before. But I don't know. All the towns look pretty similar. An old man clad in the rags of a sailor with a hook for a right hand. Spear a doubloon for an old sea hand. He holds out his hand. Do you give him any money? Yeah, sure. How much do you give? You know what? Let's make this guy's day. Huh? Let's give him a cool grand here. +1. Thank ye kindly, matey. I be Hefty Miss McPry, matey. Once Buccaneer's den quaked at the mention of me name. I was the greatest saber fighter on all the high seas. I fought Captain Alkins, that scurvy dog, and he struck me hand off with his sword. 'Twas a bitter fight. I almost expired of the wound. Alkins threw me onto the sharks. He be long gone now, he and his ship, the Empire. A pox on his memory. He seemed like a happy guy. Well, I think this has got to be the Valor Town, because that was a kind of a valorous little spiel there, I guess. Please don't fight, the sign says. Oh yeah, I forgot you can't look at people, you gotta talk to them. It would have been really easy, like I think Earthbound does this. It would have been really easy to just have one of the shoulder buttons be look and one of the shoulder buttons be talk. I don't know why they didn't do that. A girl of perhaps 12 years. She is agile and balances trays of mugs deftly on each hand. Hello, welcome. It's Lysandra, but you can call me Andy. Something happened. I'm never ready for it. Stream manager so I can see what's happening. Oh, it's Mr. Temper making his way in. Welcome, Mr. Temper. How are you? And JRW Lib followed you 4 hours ago. Thanks for the follow. JRWLib. I appreciate it. I take orders for beverages. I know how to get it from the you-know-what. I know 'tis a boy's name, but I like it all the same. Sometimes 'tis rough here, but I don't mind. Someday I'll be a fighter, you know. The fighting here usually begins over, her voice drops to a whisper, the mouse. Around sunset, things get really rowdy here. Shh! She glances about to see if you've been overheard. See yon hole in the north wall? Look carefully at where the floor and wall meet. That's where it took the rune. They tried all manner of tricks to get it out, but they all failed. I had an idea, but nobody listened to me. The rat, she whispers conspiratorially to you. Do you know of the talking mouse? Lord Bridget's friend? Oh, Sherry, yes. Be friend with her. A mouse could get the rune of that, I'm sure. I was wondering when that was going to pop up and be a thing. Mr. Temper, welcome to the Big Blue House. How the heck are you? Happy day before book launch day. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. I'm excited. Can't wait for tomorrow. Bye-bye. It was nice talking to you. Okay, there's the hole in the wall. I see it. There's a hole which is so small that none could enter, but a mouse. So, what do we do with Sherry the mouse? If indeed the Sherry the Mouse is still around. Oh, there. Sherry the Mouse. Tired? Oh, you can play as Sherry the Mouse? What? Game of the year, you guys. Game of the year. So can Sherry the Mouse... Oh, can't speak to anybody else. I'm sorry you're tired. I'm doing great. It's a good day. There it is, right there. Cool, we got the that was easy. Find ring 4. I don't think we're supposed to steal stuff, even from mice. So, must be on Avatar. There we go. That was easy. We already got the Valor rune. Maybe we could get the last 4 runes. Watch out for cats. That ought to be a maxim for anybody at any time in life. Watch out for cats. A man whose voice is rich.
How do you do? I'm the bard Van Keelian. Call me Van. Why, singing is my trade. Shall I sing for you? Well, I hear their skin is stony and rough. Their cries are fierce, yowling to make the veins run cold with fear. Though, mind ye, I myself never faced one in combat. Valor comes from the courage to be virtuous, just as compassion comes from a love of humanity. Farewell.
Play the harpsichord. This is where Final Fantasy got the idea from. Oh, also happy launch day to Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles. Anybody going to be picking that up? I downloaded it last night. I never pre-order games, especially digital games. One of my favorite memes is a guy talking to an orangutan, and the guy says to the orangutan, "You're just a dumb animal." And the orangutan says, "You pre-order digital games like they're going to run out." So it seems a little silly, but I did it last night. They give you a couple items. I'm not too proud, I guess. But looking forward to playing some of that later. Final Fantasy Tactics is one of my favorites. Probably my favorite Final Fantasy that has Final Fantasy in the title. So, and of course, this is not... Oh, you've not played through them. Wow. I mean, if you've already got the PS1 version, I would just play that version, honestly. Not enough changes from previous version. You made a purchase for me. Yeah, the voice acting is not a draw for me. I love it enough to pick it up. I've never played the PSP version, which is of course not this version anyway. An angry looking man. I've never seen you. I'm called Starhelm. I defeat monsters. There's one that they call Sinvaral. If I had my way, that gargoyle would be a statue. Lord British defeated Sinvaral in the underworld. The gargoyle went to live in the dry land. Shamino and I traveled the spirit world together for a time. I hate all monsters. I've been defeating the monster in Spiritwood. He's a vicious demon. How could Lord British imagine that a gargoyle could understand virtue? They turn to stone when you defeat them. 'Tis a desert east of the plains. There is a shrine of sacrifice there. That's not the one that we're going to. We're going to the Shrine of Valor. Any sort of bonus levels or new post-game content? I thought that they tweaked some things in like the remastered version, because the original version, I guess, comes with the game as well. So I don't know how different any of the content or the story is. I hope they didn't change it too much. But at least, and I think this ought to be standard, at least the original game is preserved in this release as well. Whips are nasty flickers. Very hard to defeat. Not like gargoyles now. Farewell, Red. Oh, he knew my name. A man in a handsome vest made of seashells. Why, hello there. Gollum's my name. When spirits below, I'll play tunes to bring cheer. Oh yes, that's quite a story too. Naughty Noman dropped the rune of valor, and the rat carried it off. He laughs loudly. Still Noah and Jerris begin to argue, over whether it was a rat or a mouse. Once again, a brawl breaks out. Oh, get him. A slender man with boots that come up to his thighs. Don't you know it's rude to interrupt a man when he's brawling? It's fighting time. Talking's for later. Don't you know? Oh, there's a guy back here. Hello, guy back here. A tavern keeper. The man looks up from his cooking. Oh, hello there. Afraid I can't talk now. I have to cook tonight's supper. Come back when it's ready and have some. There are quite a few very wordy NPCs in this game, and a lot of them are not at all helpful. Oh, he gets you on the when you come out too. Pah! Spits on the ground. He gets you on the way out too. Including the original version is a nice touch. I agree. An old salt like me won't gain anything from playing the new version, I don't think. No, I don't think so. Especially if you've got the original. I don't like thinking of video game companies as charities, so I tend to move away from notions of, hey, let's support this release. Like, there are charities that I support, and I'll support charities. A big, huge business like Square Enix, like the Disney of video gamedom. Like, Disney doesn't need my charity. But that said, I do enjoy seeing authentic releases. So these are the kinds of games that I want to see them make more of, you know? If they're going to remake Chrono Trigger for consoles, make it like this, you know, remaster like this, where the original is included. Because I think that would be really good, especially for access. A jolly man. Oh, well, hello there, my friends. What can I be doing for thee this day? My name is Martin, but my friends call me Dutch. Oh, he's Dutch. I run this inn. A room and board is 5 gold per night per person. Interested? Oh, that's cheap. He shows you to your room and you drift off into a well-earned sleep. Next morning, Martin serves you a huge, tasty breakfast. A good breakfast is the beginning of a good day, he cries. What happened to his accent? And why did he just... Wake up, Martin! I run DC and... Okay, that's it. Other people... Okay. Oh, that's a candle. I'm just now realizing that's a candle. I totally thought it was a sailing ship. It really does look like a sailing ship, but it's a candle. What else y'all got here? I mean, we already got the Valor thing. My name is Mike, but my friends call me Canada. What? What? Who? A man with a tabard covering his chainmail. Oh, welcome thee to Jellum. I'm Sullivan, and I'm Lord here. Thou mayst call me Sullivan, I just said that. The valorous are often boisterous. I watch over the fighters. I held a tournament. A tournament? To decide who will be entrusted with the rune's care. You might say that no man was the victor. Ask him yourself. The people of Jailhome like to be boisterous. Okay. Nice place you got here. My friends call me America. Nobody's ever called me Hawaii, but you know what? I wish that they would. I wish that they would, because I am a paradise, baby. Yeah, they would have to be very specific and call you the United States of America. Something like that. Yeah, what is this? Alright. Why? It's so tempting to just grab stuff, you know? But, like, apparently you're not allowed to do that. What's this guy got? A man with broad shoulders and a stern face. I'm no man. Would you like to buy anything? I'm good, dude. I'm good. Perhaps some other time then. No, man. I run the armory, buying and selling weapons. I won a rune in a tournament once. Afterwards, we were at the tavern celebrating. I was showing the rune around when it fell from me grasp onto the floor. That's when the rat ran out. It was in the hole before anybody could stop it. Alright, we already got that, so... What do you got in there? Door's locked. Are we soft locked with the virtue thing? No, I don't think so. What's our virtue at right now? Our karma KR, I'm pretty sure that's it. Our karma is at 100. And it's not really changed even though we've liberated some shrines. So we have been able to get level ups. I don't think we're soft locked. USA? Well done. Well done. Well done. Yeah, I'm for one, I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I don't know. I haven't really met anybody who's like pro Canada becoming the 51st state. It just seems like more craziness, you know? I'm good. Especially as someone who, you know, 50th state representative, and that didn't exactly need to happen the way that it did, so yeah. I don't know anybody with that. A muscled man with a wide grin. Hello, what can I do for you? Up here. Oh, and he's at up here? Alright, I already got some of these. Do you become seasick? I sail ships and skiffs, I do. Me father was a sailor, but could not read even me name. He laughs out loud. And his father before him. So long, friend. He lumbers back to his work. Okay, so now we can warp, I guess, to... We're not going to take the long way there. Hey, y'all, where are all the white mages at? I don't know. You got a red mage here, though. How's it going, Krypton? You know, we got to meet up at El Palenque sometime. The more status effects or critical hits on your party, nice. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, right? Difference between a morality system and an alignment system. But this is the first game that I can think of that I've played where they built like the plot around this concept of virtues. Really built the gameplay around this concept of virtues. I don't think I've played anything that was like you can't level up if your karma drops. That's pretty strict. Welcome, Krypton. Happy Eve of Pre-Orders Day. Book pre-orders go live tomorrow, folks. They're making only 1,000 copies of the deluxe edition with the black and gold slipcase. We do need to meet up. I'll need you to autograph a book so I can eBay infinite money glitch. All right. It's as long as I can take a piece of that pie. I'd be happy to. A couple of people asked how to get autographed copies. I do not have a good answer to that question, unfortunately. I may be doing cons eventually. I don't know. Don't have an answer for that right now. But if we ever meet up, I'd be happy to. Let's see. We're gonna take the Rune of Valor to the shrine. You're just gonna sign it yourself? That's actually hilarious. The Shrine of the Silver Monkey right here. Shrine of Valor. Oh no, they did it again. They caught me. See, I walked in the wrong direction. Okay, so then, meantime, I guess what we'll do is let's just cast Harm. It's impossible to see what I'm aiming at, so we're just going to throw stuff. I am glad that that explosion also defeats the gargoyles themselves. It's pretty nice. Ah. Okay, now we need to start worrying about damage. Iolo about to go down, so let's see. He only lives once. Oh, the poor misunderstood gargoyles. The gargoyles did nothing wrong. We fairly consistently make fun of those takes. I can't even think, well, at the moment, I can't even think of like an RPG where the villain actually didn't do anything wrong, where that statement is actually true. There's some pretty lackluster drops at this stage in the game. Okie dokie. Why don't they just ride the gargoyles to get the runes? Okay. Let's see. If this venture goes well, would you consider working on more books? Yes. So I actually have 3 books in the works right now. Not all of them at varying stages of completion, or at equal stages of completion. One of them is a secret. The other one is a secret. The other one is on... I mean, I'm a full-time writer, basically. So, like, I have the opportunity to pursue... I do a lot of freelance writing to help support the family. I have the opportunity to work on these books, which is really great. We just got our website up, thepixels.com. The-pixels.com. The website was down for about a month. We had to migrate. So, looking forward to writing game reviews again. One of the books that I'm working on is I really want to, this is not a secret, I could talk about this. I really want to publish a video game terminology dictionary. I think that's more like a fun project. And then I am working on a book on artists and AI right now. And that's again more like a side project. Those don't have anything to do with Bitmap. And then I'm working on Volume 2 for the definitive book of Super Nintendo RPGs. Say, buy my book. I don't remember exactly what it sounds like. Buy my book. All I remember is John Lovitz kind of resembled my father-in-law and looked like him a little bit. And then he kind of had like a bit of a higher pitched nasally voice. So that's all I remember of that. But yeah, already begun work on Volume 2. So I'm hoping to have that out definitely sooner rather than later. So the AI discussions in chat are relevant in that my brain was already thinking about those things, but I've begun work on that months ago already. So it's not like something I just started writing in the past couple weeks. The Volume 2 book I have been working on concurrently with Volume 1. So it's already pretty far in advance of its what was it? What is this sentence? It's already pretty far along. Thanks. I mean, so I'm not just supporting my entire family. Like my wife also works. She's working right now. This is technically my work as well. Nah, it's all right. The phones are going to be phones. It's not like I'm making a ton of money doing this, but I have the opportunity to do that right now in my life, and I definitely want to appreciate that opportunity. There it is. Force field dissolved, and you took a moonstone. So now I would like to go ahead and get a level up here with some other characters, especially those who are going to be using strength here. Tender-handedly stroke a nettle, and it stings you for your pains. Grasp it as a man of metal, and soft as silk it remains. No enlightenment, alas. There is a very strict experience points threshold that we have to meet here. But yeah, going back to the writing thing, I can't remember the last time I was bored. As a teenager, as a young adult, I would get bored sometimes. But now it's weird because I think the older you get, the more you're like, okay, like I have to get stuff done. And so right now I feel like I'm constantly doing something. Even if I stop to play a game, my brain is still thinking in terms of, how do I produce a review for this? No enlightenment. Really? Just nothing. Straight up nothing. Okay, well, that's that anyway. That was a really, really, really easy, an easy one. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We only have 2 shrines left. I don't know if that's the end of the game or not. What's your opinion of the plot of Ultima 6 so far, Red? So it's tough to say because this being an open world game, I'm not really seeing much of a plot. So far, for me, the story has really been, you return to Britannia, you greet Lord British, and then you go out and you find these runes. And so, again, I'm not really sure what the narrative connective tissue is there, especially not without a really well-versed knowledge of the previous games. But coming up to a point where, hopefully, there he is. Hopefully, we'll be able to figure out how to tie the knot on this game pretty soon. Did I ever work a corporate office job? No. So, my first job was working at a print shop with a pressman, and learned a bit about printing books and shirts and stuff like that, which is kind of coincidental now. I wanted to be a writer back then, but that was before I published my first book. And then I did a lot of boring stuff, like I would shred checks from banks, which is like you sit at like a shredder for like 8 hours a day and just feed checks into it, and your hands get lacerated from all these paper cuts. You have to pull the staples out of the checkbook. Horrible. Anyway, that was my first job. Second job during a summer break to put myself through college to help pay for tuition. I did housekeeping and carpet cleaning at the campus. Then I worked for about 10 years for Panera Bread. I became a manager and opened up stores. And then after that, I worked for a nonprofit, kind of doing daytime stimulation activities with individuals who have significant physical limitations. And then I injured myself. So get some back issues now. Quit that job and then pursued a lot more online stuff. Does anybody still have a soul and hope? Yeah, I've never worked a corporate office job, but believe me when I say that working in the restaurant industry is very soul-sucking. I think anything customer service is pretty difficult. I remember saying something like, I think every American should be mandatory to do a customer service for like a year, just so you can kind of understand, like, hey, don't be a jerk to cashiers because, you once were one. Okay, let's go and get the Shrine of Sacrifice. I believe is the oh no. We got to go to Minok first here. There we go. Super easy now to just jump around. I appreciate you not spoiling anything. This game, by the end of it, was one of those introspective games that made me question my motivations in gaming as a whole. Now, Krypton, you played the PC version when you say this, right? The version that gave you this introspective experience, that was the PC version? Managed at PetSmart. Yeah, retail and restaurant, very similar in a lot of ways. Both incredibly demanding. The hardest thing I think, in those customer service facing jobs is you really do not know, when there's going to be a wild card, when somebody walks through the door and they decide to take out their entire miserable life on you. One of the worst things about the whole experience right there, honestly. Incredibly demoralizing and dehumanizing. Something that we were talking about in Discord, and I'll bring this up to you folks, see what you think, was kind of this hypothetical question. We were talking about time travel, right? If you could go back and change things in your past so that you suffered less, would you do so? I think I might have mentioned this on stream. And the common refrain in answer seemed to be that you would not, because suffering is part of the person that you are now. Like, I might go back and stop myself from being injured. That would save me a lot of physical pain. But taking out all of the hard experiences from your past seems like a great way to essentially coddle yourself on a metaphysical time travel level. Play the PC, but the plot is the same. You'll see it by the end of the game. It's open world, but when I reached the game's climax, felt well. Can't say much more. Okay, I mean, I'll look forward to that, definitely. I did read a bit about what was changed from here. And there are some significant changes, although this seems like one of the more authentic PC to SNES ports. But there's absolutely things that were cut and are missing and stuff like that. Things that would invest you more into the experience, like even just the character portraits being missing, I think is a huge, unfortunate loss. But the fact that they could take a PC game and fit it onto a cartridge like this, I think is pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. I think you can tell a lot about how a person thinks about others based on how they treat service industry members. My name's Aaron. I run the sawmill. Is there anything I can do for thee? Yes, I saw logs into boards. Oh, I have a U-board. Or a U-log. Yule log? They're very side-glancy with their references here to culture, so I don't know. That could be a Yule log. I mean, yew is a type of tree, right? Good grain. Yes, I can make a fine board out of this log, but it will cost thee 5 gold. Aaron goes to his saw and turns the log into a flat sanded board. There, he hands you the finished product. What am I supposed to do with a board? I don't know. Find out. Look at all that cool stuff I could just take. Oh my, there's a lot of stuff here. Darn nabbit. Oh, she's not doing okay. Why? That's weird. So what happens if she just doesn't come over here? Oh my gosh. Stupid friggin' poison. I can't even see where I am now. What is that thing? That looks like a beholder. Behold-er. Afternoon, Roguish Ham. How are ya? Welcome to the stream. We're currently muddling through Ultima 6, the False Prophet. I don't think I've even seen a False Prophet in this yet. It is hard, I think, to get a hold of... Oh, shoot. That's not a little bit of damage. Was it a Hydra? Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know where the town is here. I might have to warp back. If I can't actually find the buildings. Okay. Maybe I'm the false prophet of in the... Maybe, oh, you're the false prophet in the game. I don't know. Okay, so I will be looking for that message. I will. That's encouraging. There's a lot of dialogue, and this is something freely to admit that I think it's difficult for streamers to do, you know, the song and dance of the interaction and trying to be entertaining, and then also catch kind of the fullest meaning of a game. I know I've played games for the first time on here and missed a little bit of the game's theme and the game's meaning, and I've had to go back and kind of re-experience that. So that's something for me to keep in mind, at least to be honest about. And if I miss it, like, this is not the only kind of research that I'm doing on these as well. So like, I'll beat the game, and then after that I will you know, kind of go back through and look at other playthroughs and you know, kind of study it a little bit more and see if there was anything that I missed. Okay, so speaking of missing stuff, I don't know here. Roguish Ham, I hope you're doing well today. How's everything? How's every little old thing? Tomorrow, the book pre-orders go live at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Bitmap Books is a British company, so you're going to see pounds sterling. I'm doing pretty good. Thanks. Glad to hear that you're well. Yeah, no, we're doing good. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited to get this game through as well. This is gonna, once I finish this, there'll be 8 games left for me to beat, I think, which is exciting. Okay, let me see here. I'm gonna save because I haven't saved for a cool minute, and you never know what might happen. So when you say, that's interesting, Crifton, but when you say you'll see, does that revelation and kind of like shock factor moment, or the aha moment, to coin the corporate office job, does that only come with a working knowledge of Ultima 4 and Ultima 5? Right? Because this is the first Ultima I've ever played. It's exhausting by 1 hour sponsored lunch. All right, take care, Krypton. Thanks for sharing your insight with us. I appreciate it. So I've never played Ultima, really. I played Dragon Quest. I guess that's the closest thing. But I like this game. I don't hate it. I really don't. Every CRPG that I've played on the Super Nintendo, like, you could tell it's not a system that's designed for these games. These were ported here. I did like Shadowrun. I think Shadowrun is probably the best CRPG on the Super Nintendo. One is what you get from the game, not from the plot. You don't need 4 or 5 of the plot here. Okay, good. All right. I'll try and see the bigger picture of how the virtues play out across 4, 5, and 6 after I beat it. But yeah, we'll see how it works here. Right now, I'm really just doing the busy work of, you know, find the shrines, find the runes, and then move on to the next one. So, not doing too much. Okay, sacrifice. Oh, I see it. Okay, so I was going the wrong way. I was basically hoofing it across to nowhere. Actually, it looks like that the path I was taking goes nowhere. Shadowrun was weird. I thought Shadowrun was really great. Shadowrun was really fun, in a way that a lot of CRPGs just are not to me. It seems like, and this is why we have JRPGs, is CRPGs seem like they're obsessed with being as complex as possible, with this understanding of trying to be, you know, realistic. And And I appreciate that from a historical perspective, but it's also hard to appreciate from a perspective of just kind of casually playing them. A lot of them can be really mean-spirited with their puzzles, unnecessarily obscure and abstruse. This one, though, I think is one of the more playable RPGs on CRPGs on the Super Nintendo. It really is a matter of figuring out its basic systems. Figuring out, okay, how does karma work? Figuring out how do the moon gates work? How do the moon stones and the moon orbs work? Figuring out how the magic works. Figuring out how to interrogate people and get the information that you need. All that stuff. I think if you're coming from the pen and paper world, I can see why you might crave the complexity. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then there's an element, Gary Gygax pushed against this as well with video game RPGs. He didn't care for the fact that video game RPGs replace the dungeon master, the game master, and lacked kind of the improvisational nature of playing RPGs with a group in person. Which I get. I understand that, that's all replaced by the computer. And I guess the closest thing might be emergent gameplay. But it's not exactly the same thing at all. So, but yeah, once it comes to a game like this, I think this one's pretty streamlined. Again, considering CRPGs on this system. There's a steeper learning curve right at the beginning of the game. Just trying to learn, okay, what is this game? One, what does it want me to do? So you can understand the basic tasks. Two, what are the controls? Just kind of memorizing and getting the muscle memory for the controls can be really tough with CRPGs. This CRPG took a really simplistic route for the button inputs. Like I said, I could wish that they had mapped talk and look to the shoulder buttons. That, to me, seems like a no-brainer. They did not do that for whatever reason. But yeah, that's it. A lot of old games are expected to be difficult and long, so you got your money's worth. Today's market prefers quick, encapsulated adventures. I think that holds to an extent. But there are plenty of easy RPGs on this system. And there are plenty of short games on this system as well. I absolutely remember renting platformers that you could beat in an afternoon. I remember the first time I rented Knights of the Round, and I beat it in 2 hours, and I was like, well, that was it. Right, and then even if we're talking about RPGs, there are absolutely easy RPGs on this system, and there are definitely short RPGs on this system as well. One thing I really wanted to do was kind of organize and rank these RPGs by their playtime length, using how long to play. But let me see, if I pull this up. Let me take a look at this list here. Okay, let me just run through this and see. So, this will probably be easier. Hang on. Okay, so 7th Saga I would consider a hard RPG. I think that's the hardest JRPG on this system. A traditional JRPG, not a hybrid or anything like that. I think 7th Saga is the hardest. ActRaiser is very short. Arcana is pretty short. I think there's 4 dungeons in that game. 5 dungeons. Brainlord is pretty short. That's like an adventure style game. Brandish is pretty long and pretty difficult. Breath of Fire 1 and 2 I think are pretty average. Chrono Trigger is a very short and very easy RPG. Again, all its difficulty is loaded into the bosses that kind of have these gimmicks, and once you figure those out, then it's cake. Dragon View is very short. Draken's very short. Draken, though, is a CRPG, so it's got that toughness of you just need to figure out what the game wants you to do. Baseline. It's hard to find the through line in Draken. Dungeon Master, another tough one. What's up, Taco Loco 787? How's it going? We're kind of talking about difficult or hard or easy and short RPGs or RPG hybrids. I think Earthbound's pretty average. It's kind of a longish game. EVO is not too difficult and fairly short. That one's a hybrid, though. That's like an action platformer RPG. Eye of the Beholder is rather long and rather difficult. There are some mean-spirited puzzles in that. Final Fantasy II is easy. It was based on Easy Type, or Easy Type was based on it. I can't remember which way that swings. Final Fantasy III is pretty easy as well. That's 6. I would say that's like about average length and maybe slightly below average difficulty. Mystic Quest, definitely easy. Short. Illusion of Gaia, fairly short. Fairly easy. And Nintendo, way too dull. The difficulty in a Nintendo is just staying interested. Same thing for Lord of the Rings. Both of those are way too long for how bad they are. King of Dragons, Knights of the Round, obviously both really short. Those are arcade-style beat-em-ups. Lagoon was pretty difficult. That one seems a bit shortish. Lufia and Lufia 2, average difficulty, maybe slightly below average difficulty. Average length. Magic Sword, another arcade-style game with some RPG elements in it. Very short. Never played Might and Magic 2 or 3. Ogre Battle. The Banhammer. Ogre Battle is a tough game, and that one's a long one, too. Never played Paladin's Quest yet. Robotrek could be tricky at times, but it wasn't that bad. That one's an average length. Evermore and Mana. They're pretty average in length. I don't think either of those games are particularly difficult. Shadowrun is difficult. Not that long to beat. Soul Blazer is pretty short too. That one can be tricky. Mario RPG is easy. Average length. Never played Super Ninja Boy. Never played Terranigma. Have not played Secret of the Stars. Spike McFang is really short. Really, really short. Like maybe one of the shorter ones on here. Third or fourth shortest. There were a couple of things that were difficult in that, I think, if you're not staying leveled up. Currently playing Ultima False Prophet. Uncharted Waters is way too long. But I don't think that one's that difficult, other than, again, just trying to understand what the game wants you to do. Wizardry 5, hardest game on the system. Zardion can be decently hard, but that one's really short. Action platformer. That's like a 2-hour, 3-hour game. Ys 3, also pretty short. So looking at the whole thing, there are quite a few RPGs or RPG hybrids on here that are below 20 hours for total playtime. But there's some that are, much longer. Lufia 2, if you get in the ancient cave. I think I put over 100 hours into that game. That's because the ancient cave is so good. A woman of elegant demeanor. Ah, you're the famous Avatar. I never expected to meet you in person. 'Tis indeed an honor. I am the Lady Isabella. 'Tis my privilege to be Lord of Minok. The Artisans Guild is located here. Please ask Selganor about the Rune of Sacrifice. If I weren't so busy, I'd take lessons from him myself. I've heard rumors of such creatures. Farewell. Oh, darn it. There was another thing. What am I really going to mean? Balloon. The balloonist flew off and never returned. Selganor should be able to tell you more about it. Okay, so we need to find Selganor. No idea where he is, obviously. Never been here before. A sturdy woman with a loud manner. Aye, so the great Avatar deigns to return, doesn't he? Name's Julia, I am, and pleased to meet you. Instruments I make the finest in the land. Not to be immodest, but I'm well respected by all the guild. But give it all up, I would for a life of adventure like your own. Do you want to add her to the party? Nah. If you would like to be a member too, go talk to Selganor. He's the guild master. Sent you to me, did they? Aye, I can believe that. Now the panpipes are a tricky instrument. You've got to have the finest log. If you want to learn how to make pipes, you'll need to bring a U-board. Oh, there it is. But it must be freshly cut. Go to U, where they grow the best wood in Britannia. Buy a freshly cut U-log and take it to a sawmill. Have them cut it into a board and bring it back here. Then I'll show you how panpipes are made. Boom. I do have a board. Aye, and good mood it is too. A good wood, not mood. A fine panpipes this will make. Julia sets the wood down on the bench and starts carving. As you watch, the rough board slowly turns into smooth wood rods. Then she hollows out each rod and pegs them all together. Lastly, she notches each tube and cuts them all to the proper lengths. And there it is to a set of panpipes fit for any bard in the land. She hands you the finished pipes. That was easy. Hey, Taco Loco. I know I didn't properly greet you. Taco Loco. How you doing today? Welcome to the stream. What's my equipment? I can pull that up here. So this is my first time playing any Ultima game. Any of them. Had to start with a Super Nintendo port. So let's see. Right now I've got on main character, we got plate mail, magic helm, spike collar, just using the sword and spellbook combo, swamp boots and a ring. And on everybody else, I've got halberds on Dupre and Shimino, and Iolo, Blaine, and Jana have magic bows and arrows. So this has been an interesting experience to play the game somewhat blind. You know, I've had to look certain things up. Definitely needed help understanding how the moon gates work. Alright, so can I play this? Oh, I can. Have you played Ultima before? Are you a fan of the Ultimas? Nothing. Let's see. I'm still looking for Selganor. A long, long time ago. Nice. Yeah, again, I've never played one at all. Except for Dragon Warrior. But, so yeah, it's been a fun time learning it. Early on, it's very difficult to understand this game. A kindly old woman. Welcome, Avatar. I see thy injury. Wilt thou make an offering of gold? Yeah, you can just take care of everybody. Okay. Tell you what, the oblique angle on this game, that took a bit of getting used to alone. As somebody who plays a lot of JRPGs, tough to get used to the ultimate angle. A good day to the Avatar. I'm Dale the Glassblower. I make glassware. I know how to make glass swords. I require 5 gems. Glass swords? Sorry, Red, you haven't enough gems. Why would I want to make a glass sword? Cinco! Just found a bag of chips at the Asian market whose flavor is listed as the smell of grilled steak. So not the flavor of grilled steak, the smell of grilled steak. Delicious. So, Cinco, I just want to let you know that Sarge Smash, first comment in the stream today, he said, hey, wait, this isn't the ultimate stuntman. So initially I thought that was you because that was your usual entrance. But you've been slacking on your mackin', so somebody else had to slip in here. But yeah, that seems a bit dubious. The smell of grilled steak. Did you try it? Did you buy them? I could smell your grilled steak getting off the elevator. Why isn't this the ultimate stuntman? Because it's Ultima 6 False Prophet, baby. That's the answer right there. I don't have anything else. That's all she wrote. All right, I think this is the end, don't you know? Looks like. Stunningly beautiful young woman. The woman never looks up from the book she's reading, even when you speak to her. Yes, what? Oh, was this Richard Garriott's usual experience with women? I did not buy them. Oh, you're stealing his bits. I was glad you're still around. I don't know, yeah. Curse the smell of grilled steak. At least it didn't say the curse of grilled steak. The smell of cursed steak. This seems weird. Like, how do you even like get chips to taste like steak? What kind of wizardry are they doing in a lab? Yes, I'm learning the mystic arts from the great Zhao, though I doubt you'd know much about that sort of thing. My name's Doris. I'm in charge of the Tinker's Inn while my father's away. If you have any complaint, no matter how trivial, please feel free to bother me. Doesn't really sound like she means what she said. Room and board, 5 gold a night per person. Cash in advance. Nope. Xiao is the wisest mage in all Britannia. Only she can teach the spells of the greatest power. You could buy them. Go ahead and buy them. This is experiment time. My father called me back from the Lyceum so that he could go fight the gargoyles. Don't look like she's doing much reading, meandering about like that. Still haven't found Sigalnor, I think it was the guy's name. Still gotta find that out. Oh, they got a lot of bowls in here. Ugh, where's the door? Man with delicate hands. Hello, my name is Troy. I make clocks. It's a great castle of study. We can live our life with the clicking of clocks. If clocks stop ticking, our lives will disappear. If you didn't run around asking foolish questions all the time, you might learn something yourself. Okay, well, he seemed like a nice guy. When else do you get to taste the smell of grilled steak? Usually when you grill a steak. But in chip form? Yeah, I don't know. So what do you normally get at the Asian market? Some mochi, I hope. What else? What else is good? Lychee is something to look out for at the Asian market. Oh, hey, this guy. No, I wanted to talk to him. Muscles man with a wide grin. Hello, he says, lumbering over to you and extending a large hand. What can I do for you? Trevor, do you want a ship? Do you dislike water? I used to sell ships and skiffs. I mean, everybody's gonna be in bed by now. Oh, it's the same guy. Okay, we'll head over to the inn, spend the night there, and then, I guess, continue exploring. See if we can't find where Sigalnor is. I can't remember the name. You got angry with the rude innkeeper, but you drift off to sleep anyway. Good morning, Doris said sullenly. Wow. Great service. Gotta hop on Yelp and tell them that the inn at I can't remember the name of this place. Minnock. It's not very friendly. Okay, I think I've already been in there. So might have to pull up a map just kind of to see what the layout of this town is. It's difficult to build the map in one's head, you know, when you're building a map in your head when you're playing a game, and everything looks almost identical. Makes it tough. So let me check out a map. Pork buns. Remind me to make your own ramen. Addicted to poke. Various stuff. Cool. Cool. We usually get a regular influx of kimchi. Manapua is a Hawaii variant of the steamed pork buns. I can't always find that exact distinction there. Was there one I was really looking for the other time we went? I can't remember. There's something called crack seed. I don't know if they regularly have it out here in mainland Asian markets, but it's like a what is that called? Ume. It's a salted plum that they usually put like a leaking powder on. I got one of those when we went back to Hawaii earlier this year, and that thing destroyed my mouth. It was like incredibly salty, like way saltier than I remembered from childhood. Let's see. So this is... I feel like I've looked everywhere here. Okay. Just kind of peek. I know I've been in these places, but I'm just going to double check to see if I've missed anybody. I know I've been in there. That's the recovery. The healers, that is. And ought to be 2 buildings down here. Pretty sure I went into both of these. This was empty previous. Looks the same now. And then this was like their main hall or whatever. It's like the musician's place. Okay. So then... yeah, this was the main hall. That guy looks like he could be a Sigalnor. Plainly dressed bard. Hello, Red. Oh, it is. Oh, no, it's me, Gweno. You've been away from our realm a long time, haven't you? Iolo's apprentice has taken over my job at Iolo's Bows. Of course, if you need my help, I could leave the guild for a time and join you. Do you add her to the party? So what happens if I do? If you ask one of them to leave first, I'd be happy to join you. Nah, well, I think we'll hang on to these folk here. A bit scruffy, but he's the sweetest husband I could ever ask for. Oh, it's Iolo's wife. So Galnor could tell you more about the guild than I could, but where is he? He's the guild master. If you need a good crossbow, the shop is in Britain, but a triple crossbow is better for you, I think. Okay, Sigalnor is the guild master. Where do we find the guild master? We've been in here. And what is that? Nothing special? Okay. There's fabric on the ground. Okay, so... what is the room over here? Oh, that looks like that's locked. Door is magically locked, no less. Okay, where is the guild? Is this it? I don't think I've been in here. This looks fairly guildish. Sigalnor. Slender, graceful man. Hail and welcome, Red. My name is Sigalnor. It means Seeker of the Crystal. I am the Guildmaster of Artisans. I'd be glad to give you the rune, but only members of the guild are allowed to handle it. Do you have a set of pan pipes? Very good indeed. Do you memorize stones? What? She's the mayor, balloon. Or are you looking for the man who invented the balloon? Ah, yes, now I remember. He flew to Sutek's castle. Something about a big job he had to do there. If you want to join the guild, you need to do two things. First, you need to make a set of pan pipes. Done. You also need to commit stones to memory. 'Tis a simple tune. Ask Gweno to play it for thee. Okay. Sutek lives on an island far to the south. Julia, Gweno, I know she's around here somewhere. What about this island? It's east of Serpent's Hold. Okay. Let's go learn the melody stones. Should be the person right around here. Darn cat. No, Gweno's gone. You know, just when you thought... Okay. You know why this is why you don't give people schedules. It's too hard to find them afterwards. Nope. At least I know what they look like, but that's not super helpful if I can't find them. No, that's just the inn. That's just where they keep bowls, I guess. And cheese? It looks like cheese. Those are probably like kilns or something, maybe. Nothing. This is just the house for the shipwright. Oh my goodness. Might have to do that. Oh, it's already getting to be nighttime anyway. Well, come on. Sure seems like the daytime goes right quick. That's a good suggestion. So I'm gonna guess that it is really smoky. That they used like liquid smoke to kind of give it some flavor somehow. I don't know. What's the ingredients say on the back? That aren't just like complete gibberish. All right. Now we can go find Gwenna. Gwenner, let's see, what time is it? 7:25. Pretty early in the morning. I want to say she was standing right around here. But I'm not sure. Aspartame. Well, at least there's nothing too alarming in there. How do they taste? Did you try it out? You gotta live stream yourself eating weird things. I don't even know where her house is. Immediately smelled like ramen, huh? Maybe that's the oils that it was made with? Oh my gosh, this is such a fool's errand. They have to add sweetener to everything for some reason. Well, that's how they make it so you can't taste the mind control medicine that they put in there. I remember a vagabond was trying to tell me that once IRL. There we go. The government puts mind control powder in Splenda as he was adding Splenda to his coffee. Smell exactly like Ichiban brand original ramen. So they smell like MSG. Are they good? Do they taste like grilled steak? Okay, let's see. Guild. Like to learn stones. Yes. Oh, it's the overworld theme. You know what? Music wasn't bad on this game. It's very soft. Soft and genteel music. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of people in here today. Man with delicate hands. Oh, I know you. Until we come into conjunction again. Good day to the Avatar. I'm Dale the Glassblower. There we go. We got the set of panpipes. Please play it now. Here we go. Where they taste nothing like grilled steak, more like ramen seasoning on a lightly sweetened cracker. I think that sounds pretty similar to a lot of chips I've tasted that say they're supposed to taste like meat. You know what they should have did is just grilled a steak and rub the chips all over it and then dry the chips and then throw it in the bag. Done. That's what I would have did. Hire me, Nintendo. You are now a full member of the Guild of Artisans. He hands the rune of sacrifice to you. I know you'll find some solution to this gargoyle problem. I also don't see how this town and puzzle had anything to do with sacrifice. Some towns are clearly about compassion or honesty or humility. I don't think we've done that one yet. Spirituality was one that we did. That was an obvious connection. Valor, that one made sense too. Justice made sense. But sacrifice, this particular one does not make sense to me. Shrine of Sacrifice. Here we go. We're going to pop this open. Kid doesn't like it, but he's still eating it. Sign of a hungry kid. Sometimes I give stuff to my kids and they're like, I don't like it. And then they just finish it anyway. Hey! I need to watch health here. I always get concerned when there's a ton of them. It's not too bad if somebody else dies, but I just want to make sure that red doesn't bite the dust here. There we go. Easy peasy. Oh, they got giant ants, though. Watch out for those. Easy. Maybe sacrifice a goat? I said, hey, here you go. Too soon. Spoke too soon. So that was not a winner. That was a one-time purchase novelty item. Okay, let's use the Valor or the Sacrifice rune. Ta-da! It's done. And this one. So Sacrifice gives you +1 dexterity and +1 strength. That's not too shabby, but I do want the +3 strength from Valor if we're gonna get any level ups here. Well, I'm not gonna try and min max here. We'll just see if we got anything. The universe is so vast and so ageless that the life of one man can only be justified by the measure of his sacrifice. You receive no enlightenment. Let's try the other characters at least. No, nothing still. We'll try with one more character. Oops. There's a little delay that developers will build into dialogue choices. This game does not have that, so it's easy to select something on accident. Hey, there we go. That's not too shabby. Do I consider point-and-click adventures RPGs? If they're RPGs, yeah. But if they're not, then no. So let me explain. Maniac Mansion, one of my favorite point-and-click adventures, doesn't have any RPG mechanics in it. It has item acquisition and item-based puzzles, which are, you know, point-and-click adventure genre stuff. There's overlap, obviously, with RPGs in that RPGs have item acquisition and have puzzles. But that's, you know, Dragon Quest 1 versus King's Quest 1. Put those two side by side. One is clearly an adventure game. One is clearly an RPG. But that said, Shadowrun is a point-and-click adventure and an RPG. Taco Loco 787, thanks for the follow. If you got to take off, Taco Loco, or if you're just going to hang out with us, tomorrow we're launching my book. Well, not launching. I keep getting that mess mussed up. Tomorrow, the pre-order is open for my book. They're printing 1,000 limited edition copies with the gold and black foil slipcase. So if you want the deluxe edition, you'll have to be hasty about that. 12 p.m. Eastern is when the pre-orders will go live in the United States. Good luck to you. And thanks for the support. James, how's it going? We are still struggling to level up. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the way it goes sometimes, you know? You know what I'm saying? Thanks for coming, James. Gotta give the fancy box. I appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Quest for Glory is the biggest one you can think of. Oh, for point-and-click adventure RPGs? Yeah, Shadowrun is point-and-click adventure. It's also an RPG. It has those character progression mechanics and stats and all that sort of thing. So to maybe whet your palate a little bit, how I came up with my list of RPGs is based on a systematic approach to defining what RPGs are, based on a collection of traditional mechanics. So I spend an entire, introductory section of this book basically unpacking my systematic method for defining an RPG. I don't think any method is 100% perfect because there are millions of games and millions of hybrids, and that's awesome. It should be something that's celebrated. I don't think that genre is something to be dogmatic about. I think that it's something to help consumers make decisions on and help developers, come up with ideas that fit into certain categories. So, but there's certainly plenty of games that play around with those. Does that sort of answer your question, Mr. Temper? Or what made you raise that question about if I consider point-and-click adventures RPGs? The short answer is not all of them, only those which possess RPG specific traditional mechanics. But like I don't think like Broken Age or Grim Fandango are RPGs. Single play, yeah. Seeing if it started an argument? I mean, anything starts an argument, right? Like earlier today, I was arguing with a nice fellow. And at a certain point, I was just like, have a nice day. Because I don't feel like talking about this anymore. But it was about my review card that I put out for Unicorn Overlord, which I gave a slightly above average score for in the uniqueness category. I don't think it's incredibly unique. I think it's an ogre battle like, but there aren't a ton of games exactly like that. So, give it slightly above average, but a lot of people will quibble about a single score. So, yeah, these two right here, single play and Sarge Smash. Yeah, so do you play a role? I think needs to be explained, right? Otherwise you wind up with Tetris as an RPG. Somebody told me you play the role of the player in Tetris, so it's an RPG. But yeah, I definitely don't go that route. So look forward to reading about that in the book. It's not new, but I think it's new in that it is turned into a systematic and easy way to understand RPGs. And Zelda 2 is an action RPG, yeah. But I would classify most Zeldas, if not all of them, sans Zelda 2 as action adventure games. Have you tried Shadowrun for Sega Genesis? I have not. Do you like Shadowrun for Sega Genesis? Nothing is perfect in life except the smell of grilled steak chips. Absolutely loved Unicorn Overlord. Oh, really? It overthrew FF Tactics? Here's the thing: is I loved Unicorn Overlord as well. I think Unicorn Overlord has a really flat plot and story with really undeveloped characters, really static characters. Certainly a lot of anime tropes and cliches. There's not a lot of surprises or twists and turns. There's so many characters that the game cannot develop them, and so that's why I would put Final Fantasy Tactics ahead of that. Looking at the game holistically and not just in terms of gameplay. Like I think the gameplay in Unicorn Overlord might actually be better than FF Tactics, but the story in Tactics is certainly better than Unicorn Overlord's. Unicorn Overlord is pretty flat. Yeah, if you're gonna lean heavily one way or another, I get it. People who are like story heavy may hate Unicorn Overlord. I think for me, I try to look at a game holistically or whole, right? You don't like Vanillaware's art style? I like it in that it looks unique. There are so many games that look identical, just flat out look like they're exactly the same thing. So I appreciate that they have a distinct style to their work. Unicorn Overlord is also really long. It's really long. I could have done without one entire region in that game, especially since it's kind of the same thing over and over and over again without the plot really giving you anything else. But still a really cool game. I mean, I gave it an 8.7. That's a high score for me. I usually like to score between 5 and 7. Like to score is kind of a weird statement, but yeah, 8.7 is a high score for me. People were like, it's more of a 9 or 10, dude. It was like, that's like 0.3 or like 1 point difference. That's nothing. Oh yeah, for sure. I would also say that like there's still significant differences in their games. Like Unicorn Overlord does not really resemble Dragon's Crown or Muramasa, though there's degrees and variations within their style, but overall they have this really exaggerated style. Oh, you just looked at, okay. Yeah. It looks less maybe exaggerated is a word, certainly in terms of Dragon's Crown. But like Muramasa looks more like it's like hand painted. This one definitely looks more anime, but it's really cool as like a 2D thing. But I met some people that hated it. Unicorn Overlord, one of the only 2 games you bothered to get a platinum trophy for. What was the other one? Exploitive. Oh, exploitative. Beg your pardon. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I take that, if I would say that, but I know what you mean, at least. I know what you mean. Bloodborne. But yeah, I think if we're gonna call Dragon's Crown exploitative, there's a lot of exploitative games then. Like a ton of them. Dragon's Crown, okay, alright. Hey, remember it's PG chat. We can use words like exploitative, and that's about it. Hey, this guy. So, talk to him or what? The demon Sinvra. Good afternoon. What seek you? Oh, this is just a... You can talk with him for some reason? I'm Sinvra. No job. I fled here to the underworld through the dungeon Hearthloth because I was not free among the gargoyles. The Book of Prophecy says that the false prophet will come to destroy the gargoyle race. Only the demise of the false prophet will save us. Oh, so maybe we are the false prophet. Yes, a strange concept this. Yet as Summon Minoc can tell you, flying can be achieved by anyone. Yes, I once met a pirate here in the desert. He seems to be hunting me, but he got dragged off by the ants. I'm not a demon, I'm a gargoyle. Human world and gargoyle world are joined by Hearthloth. I came here through the dungeon Hearthloth also. Among my people, those who can fly rule. Though I have wings, I cannot fly, so I was made a slave. Here I am free. Because I could not fly, I was never taught to read. There are 2 kinds of gargoyles, winged ones and wingless ones. Wingless ones are mute and unintelligent. They do all the manual labor. Winged ones are smart and do all the planning and leading. Being able to fly is to them a sign of intelligence. Even the shrine can only be reached by air. That's a lot of gargoyle exposition right there. James! Did I properly greet you, James? How's it going? How the heck are you? I think his job is gargoyle. May your persistence and precision lead to success. Well, he was a nice guy, actually. Nice enough that I'm not going to steal from him. You know? He's a friendly gargoyle. Well, okay. So, we got sacrifice. We got, let me see. What do we got here? We got compassion, valor, justice, sacrifice, spirituality, honesty. I think that we only need humility and honor now. So that's not a lot left. Maybe I'll just get the rest of them today. Especially if they're going to be this quick. Okay, let's see. Trinsic is next. Figuring out the moon orb, or rather looking up the solution for the moon orb. That was the big clincher. The game goes quickly once you figure that out, but figuring it out, that's part of the challenge in it. Okay, so we need to go to, this is Trinsic. Let me see where it is on the map. Oh, there it is. Wait, I've been here before. Oh, we already got the one of honor. 2 shrines left. Fingers smell like graham crackers? That's all kinds of weird. Nobody eats a grilled steak and afterwards is like, why do my fingers smell like graham crackers? Okay, so we already did the Shrine of Honor. Okay, let me see again. We did honesty, compassion, valor, justice, sacrifice, honor, spirituality. Oh, we only have one more now? The Shrine of Humility. Let's see. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so we only have one left. That's easy. I don't think that's the end of the game, but it is something. Sheep. I like sheep. Hello, dude. A short man dressed in shepherd's clothing.
Oh there. Once I was a reindeer of the mighty, now I live a more modest life. I came here to meditate, tend sheep, and sell wool. I should go there again soon, it changed my life. You should go meditate at the shrine yourself. Please ask Antonio. I used to be a mage. I wore silk robes and fine jewelry. I even had my own castle. But one day during my travels I visited the Shrine of Humility. Meditating there I had an idea. I would quit the practice of magic. I would live as a shepherd. Surely this would be the act of humility a man could perform. And so you see me here today. Those days are no more.
Oh, see, this town instantly you're like, okay, this is the town of humility. But I didn't get the sacrifice angle from the town of sacrifice.
So they can be shown to make wool. I make robes from it. From earth to grass to sheep to me. When I expire, I shall return to the earth. I wear a robe while I tend the sheep. It's all part of life's great circle.
It's the circle of life, da 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 da, and it moves us all, tick 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 tick, through despair. Ah, can't fit yourself through there. There's a guy, very humble town, an old farmer. Howdy, my name is William. I'm a farmer. Ask Antonio. Farming is about all I do with myself, except when I find time for carving hippos. I have humility, don't I? People overly concerned with being humble, though. I don't think that's humility. The Lord of New Magentia. I'll show you one. The old man gets a fiendish gleam in his eyes as he reaches into his pouch and takes out a small wooden hippo. I was going somewhere I didn't think it was going to be. That's where you are now. He's a mighty foolish fellow. Spooky, yes? Just need that baby lion. And this is why one should keep lions, just in case you need to burst into song. Then you could hold a baby lion. That's a Disney movie that I've seen way too many times. The Lion King. That thing is practically like white noise to me at this point. The well of humidity. Well, well, well. Nothing special. Let's see. So I don't know if we're gonna finish this today. We may get the last shrine today, but that may not be the end of the game. But if so, we'd probably start Sea of Stars tomorrow, or Paladin's Quest, I don't know. I am called Charlotte the Weaver. Or Charlotte Weaver? I am but a humble weaver. Wouldst thou like some cloth? I can weave thy silk thread into a cloth. Sure. She soon weaves the thread into a fine silk cloth. Finish. Takes your gold and hands over the cloth. Takes my gold. She lives in Paws. He lives in Paws. Antonio knows about the rune, and I turn wool into cloth. Not very good, but some people take pity on me and buy my cloth anyway. Farewell. Yeah, so that kind of tracks Cinco Play. I think, to your point, there's better port of Ultima than expected. A lot of what I'd read is that, I didn't read too much before starting this because I didn't want to spoil myself, but just kind of general takes and asking around. A lot of people said that this is a really good... did I say Sea of Stars or Secret of Stars? I must have said Sea of Stars. Not gonna play Sea of Stars. I already did my time with that one. Secret of the Stars. Tecmo. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there were a lot of people who suggested that this was a really faithful port of Ultima 6. So nice to see that there is a faithful port of Ultima 6. I mean, of a CRPG. Apparently the next one, the Black Gate, is more fundamentally changed during the porting process. A gentleman of slight build and refined manners. Greetings. I am Lord Antonio. My name is Antonio. I govern New Magencia. Unfortunately, the fine people of this town have few disputes to settle, leaving me plenty of time for my hobbies. I left it in William's care. Who, William? The City of Humility is a lovely place to live. Doesn't sound very humble. I do magic tricks. Brings a bit of cheer. Wouldst thou like to see one? Splendid. Antonio reaches into his pocket and takes out a balloon. He blows it up until it bursts, and 4 doves appear from inside it, flying off towards the 4 points of the compass. Did you enjoy that? That was... I don't know how he did that. It is competent. Yeah. It's not like the most exciting game that I've played on this system, but I haven't run into like anything like wrong, like objectively wrong, like glitches, issues with broken rooms and mistranslations and all kinds of stuff like that. You're impressed that he did it indoors? The doves flew through the walls, must have. Okay, so we need to find somebody named William now. That's an interesting statement. I wonder how many Ultima fans would push back against that. That Ultima was never meant to be exciting. That's interesting. Oh, we can sneak behind him. Take all his stuff. If you'll allow me to rephrase that. It's not the most fun I've ever had playing an RPG. Now, hopefully, one wouldn't say Ultima was never meant to be fun. That'd be a hard pill to swallow. A plump, jovial fellow chewing on a leg of lamb. Welcome to the humble palate. My name is Dunbar. What do you want? Milk, you got all kinds of... Oh, fish? I like fish. I sell food. Serving others is the humblest occupation I could imagine. That's why I opened this place. He wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. Please ask Antonio. Everybody says Antonio, though. Now we gotta find William. William? Ultima was never meant to be. Oh, dang. Talking about, like, existential claims about video games over here. We get into the deep topics, y'all. The deep topics. A short man dressed in shepherd's clothing. Hi there. Oh, yeah. I already talked to you. The shepherd. Ultima was never meant. There you go. It makes it sound like it was perpetrated. Oh. I need to find an inn. That does not look like an inn here. It was just somebody's little house. William? Star-white fellow with a look of placid concentration. You think you see a flicker of recognition pass between Iolo and the man, but soon he turns to address you. Is there anything I can do for you? We've met before, but that was many years ago. Oh, forgive me for not introducing myself. I'm Connor Starfalcon. What a 1970s name right there. Connor Starfalcon. I am Luke Skywalker. I'm a fisherman. In catching fish, as in all of life, there is something to be learned. The Shrine of Humility is far to the southeast. I no longer follow the way of the warrior. Please ask Antonio. Yes, long ago. Fish, I still have not mastered the way of the fisherman. But I think perhaps the key to enlightenment lies not so much in the destination as in the road one travels. The way of the fisherman, I'm satisfied to live here. So every once in a while, I like to grab a quote from the game. I actually like this one quite a bit. Just snag that right quick. Okay. It's dark. Let me see. Let me take a look at the map. Do they have an inn here? And this is the town of. Actually, I forgot where I am. New Magencia. There we go. Do they have an inn here? I don't know that they do, actually. It's a pretty small town. Okay, so we're just gonna warp back to Britain and come back here another time tomorrow. So I haven't played Secret of the Stars yet. That'll probably be the next one that I do. So here, this seems to be the general refrain from chat, is that it's bad enough to turn it into a joke that it's good. And also that it was the average RPG in its time when it first released in Japan. But by the time it got over here to North America, it was significantly out of date. There it is right there. Now I gotta check those dates because I don't think that's accurate. Secret of the Stars came out in Japan in 93. And it released in North America in 95. 96 would be very late. But 95 for North America, like Chrono Trigger was coming out in 95. Final Fantasy VI, stuff like that was on the shelf. So it definitely was not competing well with that. Now 93 though, I mean 1993 is 3 years after the launch of the Super Famicom. So that, even just in its native Japan, that's a little unforgivable. Like, what was the launch date for Final Fantasy? Final Fantasy IV. 1991. Definitely a lot more. Oh, whatever, numbers. I think it's important because 91 would be extremely early. 91 would be like the first full year of the system. 93, the system has already had a couple of years on it. I think that's still a little unforgivable. I don't know if I want to give Secret of the Stars credit for being early when that's really mid-cycle. Maybe if it came out in 91, you could make that argument. But yeah, it didn't. I mean, if it came out alongside Final Fantasy 2 or Final Fantasy 4, sorry, used to talking in the Super Nintendo terms, then yeah. But not by 93, you were already getting some pretty decent stuff, I'd say. It looks really bad. It sounds like the translation is pretty bad. I'm interested to know a bit more about the gameplay and stuff like that. So that'll be interesting to find out. It's also a Tecmo RPG, and Red has a not good relationship with Tecmo RPGs. Oh, actually, Koei RPGs you're thinking of. So thank God it's not a Koei RPG. I think that would be much more difficult to stomach. And I know somewhere Mr. Temper is cringing just because I said it. There he is with the banhammer. You can banhammer all you want. Just go ahead. I'd watch. What other... Let me see here. Let me check something. Okay, in 1993 in North America, you were getting the likes of Uncharted Waters, Way of the Ninja, so 2 Koei hits. You got EVO, Search for Eden, Dungeon Master, super old game being ported over, 7th Saga, Paladin's Quest, Secret of Mana. So what was Secret of Mana? I mean, Square, obviously, it's hard to judge Square as an average, because Square was already doing like really impressive stuff. So Secret of Mana released in Japan in 1993. Yeah, August 1993. That's a huge difference. Yeah, right, Koei. Yeah, so not Koei Tecmo. Right. I get it. I see why you mentioned that. No, yeah, they're still separate. And I think this is the only RPG by Tecmo. The only RPG by Tecmo that I've got to play as part of this lineup. I don't know. What are some RPGs that only Tecmo made, not Koei Tecmo? And do they have a reputation? All right, we got to find William. Let me ask again. Because now I don't... I remember here. So Ninja said, I spent more combined hours playing Koei games than any other developer by far. I'm sorry. Gentleman, a slight build, refined manners, greeting is Lord Antonio. Okay, the rune. I left it in William's care. So that's the character that we need to find. Somebody named William. Not sure who he is or what he's about. That is the seamstress up there. This is not a big town. It seems like so far this has actually been the hardest thing in Ultima 6 has just been finding a specific NPC. Like a really specific NPC that the game wants you to talk to. Trying to find that person is difficult. But this is an island, so like if he's here, we're going to find him eventually. Is this William? Peasant Katrina. Red, I dare not believe it. Fantastic. Hast thou returned to save our land from the gargoyles? Then surely we're saved already. Called Katrina as I was the last time we met. Oh, that seemed a little passive-aggressive. Times have changed. Where once I grazed sheep, now I till the land. All work is the same to a peasant. We all do what is expected of us. If thou wouldst have me join thy quest, thou needst but ask. No. So, whenever you need me, please call me. The gargoyles are a grave threat to the land. Many brave soldiers have perished defending us from the invaders. The Avatar carries with him the hopes of all the land. Not William. Is William a bird? Might have to just look up where William is at, because we could meander aimlessly for quite a while. This guy's going to be the shipwright, I believe. Yeah, I can't remember your name, though. Connor Star Falcon. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's, the shepherd. Yep, no idea. There's a lot of people in here. One of these has got to be William. Lord Antonio. Howdy. I think I talked to this person already. Oh, it's William. I gave it to Orendir last week. Ah. Okay, that's the shepherd. See who this is here. No. I'm not super keen on you know, going back to what Cinco Play's point was earlier, that Ultima was never meant to be exciting. These kind of NPC trails that you've got to chase down is not super exciting. Okay, but here is the guy, a reindeer, and Rune gave it to Connor a few days ago. So that's what they, yeah. The puzzle is just walk from NPC to NPC. Not super compelling. I think he was at the bar. Oh no, this is the shepherd's house. Oh boy. Oh no. Ugh. Let's see if he's... There he is. Okay, and then he's going to be like, oh, I gave it to so-and-so. Rune. Gave the rune to Charlotte the day before yesterday. So that is the Weaver. And we just saw her in the bar, so now I got to walk back there. Oh, hang on. Oh, I missed a couple of things. Let me see. Beg your pardon. I think the average quality RPGs in Japan 1993 would have been Breath of Fire, Lufia, Romancing Saga 2. All way better than Aquatalia and Secret of the Stars. This sounds about right. I would say Breath of Fire is pretty average. I have not played a significant amount of Super Famicom RPGs, so I can't really say, honestly. But I can from a Super Nintendo perspective. And I would say Breath of Fire 1, Lufia 1, pretty average. Secret of Mana definitely skewing towards the higher end of quality. The fact that I thought it was 91 speaks a lot about it, for sure. It's definitely a bit of an eyesore to look at. Makes you miss... I mean, I would take cube pushing puzzles over this. I really would. Especially when the NPCs change position so quickly. Makes it hard to hunt them down. Hopefully she's still here, and she's not. So we will check her abode up here. Okay, there she is. Talk to her. Gave it to Dunbar yesterday. It's going to go all the way back to giving it back to Antonio, I think. I think exciting in quotation marks was a bit revealing, but like there's fun part, and I did change that statement to fun because I think that's closer to what I mean. Dunbar, maybe that's the dude up here. it's just slow going. Puzzles are not super great like this, but the dungeons are fun. But excitement is certainly different here. I find Maniac Mansion quite a bit of fun. I think there's some excitement in Maniac Mansion, like when you accidentally switch on the nuke reactor, man, almost blow the house up. That's pretty exciting. But for this, there's not a lot that's time dependent. That's a factor in excitement for sure. Not a whole lot of shock value. This is William. So who the heck was Dunbar? The barkeep, I think. This guy. Yep, Dunbar. Okay, rune. I gave back the rune to Antonio a few minutes ago. Ah! I can't believe it. Actually, I can believe it, because you can see that's exactly where they were going with this. That is just frustrating, though. What a frustrating, time-wasty puzzle. Like, that doesn't teach you anything about this game. That there's no meaning to the virtue of humility by having you just being forced to follow this sort of wheel around, you know? It was terrible. There was you know what you would love single play? There's can't remember the guy. There's a guy who reads through a compilation of unnecessary quotes, quotation marks. It's great. I don't know. I know your personality though. That's the thing. Even if I'll be honest with you, I will. That definitely came off as snide. And I get that we're not having a physical, verbal conversation. So there's a level of trying to interpret text that is a little different. But it definitely putting the quotation marks around excitement was definitely came off as snide. All right, bug on my boy Bill's character. I guess that's it. Patience and virtue are close enough, I guess. Next to me telling me compassion and valor are the same thing. Okay, that was the game's worst puzzle. A few minutes ago, I received the rune again. Please take it. I wish you success on your mission. Yeah, that's not fun or anything like that. That was probably one of the dullest puzzles in this game. All right, but we got it. So now we can go ahead and warp to the town of Humility. That was like Final Fantasy XIV level forced world building right there. Okay, let's figure out where this is. Consult El Manuel. Manuel, where do we warp? Shrine of Humility is going to be right here. So let me reiterate how the gates work. And what really was confusing me there was the fact that the blue moon gates and the red moon gates work tremendously differently. The blue moon gates work on the principles of the phases of the game's 2 moons, which is really tough to figure out. And then there's also the principle of the position of the relative position of the avatar to the place where you drop the moon orb to make a red gate. And those two things are pretty different. But just learning that difference, learning how both of them work differently is tremendous. For quotes sarcastic. I don't know about every game. I don't know about anything in Chrono Trigger that's that dull to where I don't want to do it again. But that was I mean, none of the puzzles so far in the game have been like, wow, that was amazing, I figured it out. Like, I accidentally found a rune inside of a bush. That felt really cheap, you know? But at the same time, I give the game credit because it is so old and foundational. But yeah, that whole NPC chasing thing, that was stupid. That was just bogus. Worst mission ever. Okay, we got a bunch of stuff that we really don't need that I'm just going to sell off. Here we go. There it is. I was like, where's the rune? Humility! Alright, that's the last rune of the game. Done. Oh, make it stop! Okay, humility. Let's see. What's your favorite RPG? Single play? Is it Final Fantasy 12 or is that just your favorite Final Fantasy and not your favorite RPG? Let's see. Shrine of Humility. Why can't I find this? I'm really not seeing this one at all. Honesty, compassion, valor, justice, sacrifice, honor, spirituality. Why is humility not on this list in the manual? It only lists 7 of the 8 virtues. Okay, I don't know. Spirituality, honor, justice, valor, compassion. Okay, the Shrine of Humility only raises your level. It does not give any bonuses. Well, that's bogus. We don't want to mess with that. But that is actually all 8 of the things. So what we're going to do here is move all this stuff together so we can see them all. Should be one more. There it is. Oh, you can't carry anymore. Okay. Well, let's actually go back and sell off some of the stuff that I don't need, some of the things I don't need. Yesterday, Retro Pals were playing an FMV game where they found their required driver's license by randomly clicking on a tree. It could be worse is not a great defense for a bad puzzle, but it definitely could be worse. You're right. This is not the worst puzzle I've ever done. For one, it's really short. It's the pointlessness of it that felt really bad. But yeah, not the worst puzzle on the planet. There is a puzzle in Grim Fandango that to this day, I don't know how you're supposed to figure it out. You have to click on a very specific spot. A very specific spot in a big, huge, empty field. And that is something that, I just had to look up. Anybody who's played that game knows. Okay, have all the virtues, must be the prophet. I got all the virtues, y'all. Okay, but we're going to sell some stuff. Final Fantasy VI, best RPG of all time. 12, personal favorite. Though I recognize 6 is way better. Good for you. I like that distinction. I like when one can make a distinction between personal favorite and best. Obviously, I can't do that for Chrono Trigger, and I won't do that from Chrono Trigger because I'm convinced of both simultaneously. But there's other ones that I think in other categories. Consider Symphony of the Night and Deus Ex to be RPGs, and they sometimes overtake the FF games, depending on mood. So I've never played Deus Ex. I would consider Symphony of the Night to be an RPG. Definitely in the RPG category of Metroidvania. Excellent game, too. Fantastic. What is this? Oh, yeah. So, the reason why I asked too is I wanted to run through that bit that you mentioned earlier, where every game has that part that you never want to play again. For you in FF6, what is that part? Is there a part for you in FF6 where you're like, you know, it's extremely dull, you never want to do it again? Maybe not to the level of that previous puzzle here in Ultima 6, but you know, something to where you're like, never again. Hard to imagine for something as good as 6. But I would imagine that would have to be just something that's purely like, you know, comparatively dull. Freaking Magic Tower. I mean, at least that's optional, right? You don't have to do that one. You don't like the opera scene? Oh, yeah, that's right. Mr. Temper, you don't like stories. Why do you play RPGs? Like one of the most story-centric genres. And you don't like story. What you got to do? Okay, we'll take that. And then, well, I don't need to worry about selling off the rest of the stuff. But what I would like to do is see about doing this. So I've done the tower a couple times. I don't remember like hating it, or anything. It's just, what is it? Just like boring, or it's too hard, or what? There we go. We got all 8 moonstones. Hurrah! It's so funny because like most people will consider the opera sequence to be one of the most iconic and memorable sequences in the game. You truly are a unique player, Mr. Temper. You truly are. That's not my favorite moment in the game, but it's fun. It's great, especially to see the you know, the paradox of the grizzled war vet turned into the diva. Okay, so Lord British, now what do we do? Oh yeah, that's right. I was gonna see about equipping this wand, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really done anything with this. Attack 30. Really? Alright, I'll try that. No, I know that you like RPGs for the battles and challenge more than the story and exposition. But it is such a genre that's story heavy, that it's a surprise that you like it so much. Like, surely you could probably find another genre that, you know, that is similarly, oh, dungeon crawlers. Okay, yeah. Or like strategy tactics, stuff like that. This guy's still gonna get me. Hate him, hate him, hate him. Get out of here. Bum, 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 bum. So it's a hard dungeon. Right. So you don't like modern RPGs then? Oh, you liked Unicorn Overlord, which had a lousy story, but it's a gameplay heavy game, as strategy tactics games tend to be. My lord. Good morning, Red. What wouldst thou speak of?
You need healing or ask me to repeat it?
Heal me, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
Okay, how about the 8? Stay strong in thy commitment to the 8 virtues. Each was sent to a town near its shrine. Ask the leaders of each town to tell thee more. Do thou ask Tholden. He is in the southern part of the castle. Now, see what I mean? Okay, so now, now I don't know what to do. Actually, I have no idea. Now that we have all the moonstones, you know, should I like experiment with them, or let's see. Oh, I can imagine. You probably lean towards a lot of strategy tactics RPGs these days. Dungeon crawlers for sure. But a lot of them seem to have sunk into, and this is where I'm on your side a little bit. A lot of RPGs seem to have sunk into this malaise of just like, let's watch a movie, and then it's occasionally interrupted by like a battle or something like that. That to me isn't compelling at all. Oh yeah, I am 100% with you, single play there. Issue with modern RPGs is 3 times longer than the 16-bit era, but a quarter of the actual meaningful content. Yeah, I was just saying that yesterday with, this idea that a lot of RPGs don't justify their playtime at all. I think one frustrating thing with RPGs that long, if they're not MMOs, which in their own way are frustrating. Wait, not usable? Why? Can you not drop them all like next to each other? Because that's what my plan was to just do that and see what happens. Like, I really don't know what I'm supposed to do here now. Find out. So the moonstones are still really confusing to me. It's like that each one is connected to a shrine until they're not, because you liberate the shrine. This is just my understanding of it. And then after that point, you can use them to connect to where they were dropped or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up, though, because I actually have no idea what to do now that we've got the 8 moonstones. Let me go back in here and talk with some of these folks. See if I can remember the start of the game before we just start looking things up willy-nilly. Because I don't like doing that if I can figure it out. But if I can't in a decent amount of time, then pass. Why are you here? Isn't it like the middle of the day? Lord British, there's a guy over here. Now, they said I could take anything I wanted in here. Chest is empty. What is... Here's an interesting question. Are we going to phrase it properly? What is a long RPG that you think most justifies its playtime in terms of meaningful content? I don't even see where anybody else's rooms are. I mean, there's that there. FF6 and Lufia 2. Would you call those long RPGs? FF6 and Lufia 2? Dragon Quest 7. I hear 7 is quite long. I guess here, let me try phrasing the question again. What is a long RPG that you think mostly or best justifies its playtime with meaningful content? Well, long is a subjective term, right? Because you only know what long is based on short. So whatever context you can come up with, yeah, 50 hours plus seems longish. So like, I'm hyper focused on just the Super Nintendo canon of RPGs right now, and long on this in this context is not that long. Like, there are no naturally 100-hour RPGs on here, I don't think. Except for Nintendo, that game never ends. But maybe the Uncharted Waters games. If you're not playing it right, bro. But Taken as a whole, looking at the entirety, I think 70 and up, I would consider long. Maybe in 60 and up, I would consider long. Anything approaching 100 hours is definitely long. I get that long is a subjective term, right? Because again, long and short are comparisons. But anything approaching 100 hours is definitely long. Absolutely. Non-RPGs, but yeah, I wouldn't consider them. But you would consider that they justify their length for the most part. Not in story terms, certainly. But there's certainly a lot to do in them. 12 is pretty long. 12 is pretty long. It does have quite a bit of story in it. 8 I've not played. Which game took you 140 hours? Was that Unicorn? If there were 2 dungeons shorter, they'd still be long. So I've never actually played a Persona. Okay, let's see if this is truly Lord British. Oh my gosh. I am Lord British and I can do whatever I want to. I remember reading this previous, that's why I'm not reading now. A clever trick or I am not Finn? All right. Labyrinth of Galeria. Woof. JRPG? That sounds like a JRPG style name. Claire Obscure. You think that'll take do you think that'll take RPG of the year? Main game in around 30 hours. That's a good moderate length, I'd say. I could guess it was a dungeon crawler. Japanese dungeon crawler or Western dungeon crawler? Okay. What to do now that we have all the shrines? I think I asked about a lot of these already. Mouse, story, Mr. Nose. Repeat, Moongate, let's see. Okay. When the Shrine of Compassion fell, Sir Geoffrey sent a party to free it. Dost thou ask him of this mission? We must recover the shrines by using the 8 runes. Thus far, fighting against Garls has proven fruitless. I hope that thee can save us once more. As thou art here, I have a room in the castle aside for thy personal use. It is in the west wing of the castle, just south of the Iron Chambers. Okay. All right. So yeah, that was basically the thrust of the plot as far as I understood it, which was needing to get all of the runes of virtue, which I have. So now at this point, I'm not sure what to do either with them or who to speak with, move on. It would have been my guess that it was Japanese. It sounded like a Japanese title. Claire Obscure might, yeah, what else came out this year for RPGs? I don't stay on top of stuff too often. Avowed, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Monster Hunter Wilds. That game was kind of all right. Oh, Pokemon Legends ZA is gonna win RPG of the year. Oh yeah, there's Ghost of Yotei, one of those third-person perspective action adventure RPGs. Those are a dime a dozen, but the folks over at the Game of the Year, Game Awards, love those things. Metaphor. Didn't Metaphor come out last year? Yeah, Pokemon is one of those where you grow out of it and then you kind of grow back into it. That's what happened with me. Mostly when I had kids. And now I actually played through Scarlet Violet co-op with my brother who lives in Hawaii. So that was a nice time, actually. And he's like somebody who grew up on FPSs, loves playing shooters and stuff like that. And then he's just like, I think I really like Pokemon. Which is funny. Okay. Metaphor Refantasio. I thought that was 2024. Yeah, 2024. You gotta get your dates right, Cinco. Come on. This is why you keep me around. I'll just fact check you and stuff like that. It all blends together, though. In your defense, it really all does blend together. Could have just come out yesterday, for all I know. I do want to play. The game. Expedition 33. Expedition. Okay, so what do I do once I get all the runes? What to do with all the moonstones? I don't even understand this. There's it's like telling me to combine items with stuff, and I don't know what that stuff is. I'm not sure how to find out what that stuff is, in fact. So that's the difficult part right now, is I don't know. So I guess there are other quests to be done in this. I'll probably leave that for tomorrow. But at least we got all the shrines. More cryptic than Wizardry was. So Wizardry had things that were difficult to manage. Wizardry is the more difficult game, to be sure. But things like wiping out your entire party, yeah, that's difficult. Hard saving whenever you return to town automatically, that autosave screws you up real hard. There's that, I think when I was playing Wizardry 5, I said something like, if this game let you stagger different save files, that alone would have made it a lot easier. But you couldn't. So that was tricky. And yeah, you'd open like a treasure chest and it'd wipe your party, or you'd fight like a random enemy and they'd just instant kill you. Like, that was pretty rough. So that I think Wizardry 5 was definitely a harder game. This is a smoother game, but again, the difficulty in Ultima 6 is understanding what the game wants you to do. There's a lot of dialogue in this game, but a lot of it doesn't have this kind of utilitarian quality that we're used to in a lot of RPGs, in which characters constantly tell you where to go and what to do next. And so it's a little strange here to play this game where there's a lot of characters constantly talking, NPCs talking, but I don't know where to go now. Big Joe, how's it going? For sure, and we addressed that earlier in the stream as well. There's significant differences. Someone who has played Ultima 6 told me that there's not a dramatic amount of difference in the story and themes. I don't know, because I've never beaten this game before. I can't compare it to the PC version. I'm going to try one thing and see if this does anything. Because to me, this seems like the only reasonable thing to do here. Well, but then how do I know which one is which? Hang on. See, tough thing is, like, the game doesn't tell you, other than the shape of the moon, which moonstone is which. So I don't know which moonstone is associated with which virtue. So that's what's tough here. Like, I was like, you know what I could do is I could drop each moonstone into the little ring of stones. But I don't know which one is which. And I could probably figure out how to look that up on here on one of these. I have like a ton of walkthrough sites open right now. But I don't know. I don't know which one is which. Or does that not matter? I don't know. It might not matter at all. Let me just try it. Let me just try it and see what happens. Oh, you need a journal. While like playing Myst. Yeah. I mean, for one, I'm sitting in the dark, so it's kind of hard to take a journal right now. I can appreciate that about games for its time, for sure. I would love to know, I guess, in advance, which information is relevant to put down into a journal. One of the things to note about Ultima is that you're playing in an unintended context. Ultima series was originally played more like an adventure game where you play for a while and explore. Then think about the puzzles offline, come back when you have an epiphany. You're meant to slowly uncover the secrets of Britannia, not Marathon. Which is rough for a couple reasons. All right, like, you're on console, right? And like, imagine renting this game. You would have to absolutely put in, you know, an exorbitant number of rentals to follow that intended methodology. I also suspected when you said unintended context that you were going to mention Ultima 6 comes at the end of its trilogy. The funny thing is it wasn't designed for console until it was specifically designed to be ported to console, you know, which is interesting. It makes me wonder why they didn't port Ultima 4, 5, and 6. Why start with porting 6 and then port 7? Because the only Ultimas on Super Nintendo were Runes of Virtue 2, which I believe was a port from the Game Boy version, or a port of a Game Boy game, and then Ultima 6 and Ultima 7. So in a lot of ways, we're not getting the full context. And then think too, I'm actually complaining about it from a perspective of modern vantage points, like where I can look stuff up online. But imagine buying this or renting it back in the day, and the game expecting you to take notes on things that you're not sure what they do, or take notes on things that you're not sure would be relevant, you know, such as which moonstone is which or how they work. Porting to a console is usually a business decision, not a design decision. Smiley face. I'm gonna take that smiley face as somewhat passive aggressive. But design choices had to be made for this console port, though. So I don't know if I fully buy that very blanket statement that porting to a console is usually a business decision. I get that that could be the nucleus of making the decision, but they absolutely had to make very specific design choices to get the PC version of Ultima 6 to fit on a Super Nintendo cart, and that involved stripping down various bits of design that were built into the game. Right? Let's see. Ms. Tepper says, I really think there's something you said for taking your time with games instead of worrying about the runtime. I like to explore and often spend far more hours in a game than what's considered the average completion time. I love to explore in games when that exploration is enjoyable. So you said, Mr. Temper, that you're not super familiar with Ultima 6. You watching me play this every day, does this game to you look like a really fun game that you would just love to explore more of? Or not? I haven't hated exploring it, but it's also extremely samey. The world is pretty empty. There's really not a huge amount to find. That's literally what Ultima fans enjoyed, though. Right, but you wouldn't find Ultima fans on Super Nintendo, especially before they ported Ultima to it, right? Because Ultima fans were on PC. So again, it begs the question why they ported Ultima 6, and made the design choices that they did. And as I understand it, Richard Garriott didn't have anything to do with the ports. I believe I remember him saying that. But somebody went through here and not gutted it. It is fairly close, depending on who you ask. Long-running understanding there of what the Ultimate series was. Someone just jumping in. Yeah, it's rough. Yeah, so the question that we'd asked a while back, Big Joe, was where do you think would be the best place to jump in on Ultima? I think a lot of people said 4. Which, then again, Ultima 6 would have been the first introduction to Ultima that console peasants would have had if they had a Super Nintendo. Maybe if they had an NES before that, but not everybody did. Absolutely not. I would not enjoy exploring this one in general. So that's the point that I'm making, right? Like, I get this idea that, like, these games are intended to take your time with them and explore and take notes. But I think if the inherent game isn't fun, that's not a compelling idea to me. So to kind of flip that, though, a game that I would consider really fun to explore is Zelda 1. I've played through Zelda 1 numerous times. I think Zelda 1 is a much easier game to understand, certainly much easier game to control. But yeah, this is pretty rough. Right, they're huge nerds. So then now porting that to Super Nintendo, which is marketed to young boys, you're kind of forcing this square peg into a round hole, right? Unless, this was just meant entirely to not be for that. But this was a system that was marketed to young boys. Not to your typical, pen and paper PC nerds. You liked Ultima Exodus on NES much better? This likes the graphics on older ones. Zelda's a great example of a fun game to throw. What did I say? PG-13 stream? What did I say? I don't recall I said anything. It was marketed to young boys? Is that I probably said something that your gutter trash brain interpreted as an innuendo, which is not at all my meaning. Port was a misinformed choice. That's what I'm getting at. So I say it probably wasn't a design decision as much as a marketing one. And I get that. And I mean, the nucleus of that decision was likely a business decision, but following that decision, numerous design decisions then had to be made in order to port the game to the console. But it absolutely does seem like it's a misinformed, misaligned choice to take this game at the end of its trilogy and expect that players, in order to... This is what I guess I'm pushing back against. I don't want to defend this game by saying, well, it expects you to do something that no child playing the Super Nintendo in the 1990s would have naturally done. That's a missed high five. Design decisions forced by marketing. Welcome to the gaming industry, my friend. Welcome to the gaming industry. That's exactly what happened. How did I know, Mr. Temper? How did I know? It's funny, like, trying to have, like, a family-friendly, stream when, like, 40-somethings with brains in their gutters show up, and, like, I'll say a normal sentence, and they'll be like, freezing! Like, how would you get off Adult Swim and get back into the real world, huh, Mr. Temper? Huh? All right, anyway. But yeah, I think that's the difficulty here. Is there's a bit of a missed high five. This is a port of a PC game that has an intensely specific way of playing it and enjoying it, and that's not something that is lent towards the console gaming experience, which again is a lot of tension with CRPGs on the Super Nintendo. A lot of it. But it sounds like you're suggesting that they should have made a less accurate port to cater to the SNES market, but then we get flack for changing the game for the console release. I don't think so, because I don't think that there's that clear of a binary choice to make between those two things. Now, you as a designer know that there are a multitude of design choices that you would make in the production of a product. And that multitude of choices does not result in two binary objects, right? The binary objects meaning that we either get an accurate port that's not fun to play on console, or a less accurate port that is fun to play on console. There's a billion degrees of potential products that you could get between those two binary extremes. Like a billion, right? So I would not advocate, though, for this being less accurate to the PC version. I think I would advocate it for it not being the first Ultima released on the system. I would certainly advocate for, if they're going to change anything, which they did, I would advocate for it being more easy to understand on a Super Nintendo controller. That seems like a basic porting design choice, right? So like what I was saying earlier, the first couple of streams playing this game, and you guys are arguing with somebody who has been playing this game for the past week. Like, I want to see you play this game and not complain about it. Just trying to get through this menu and figure it out alone has been rough, and that's unnecessarily so. Again, they could have mapped talk or look to the shoulder buttons. That would have been super easy. I'm glad you're agreeing with me, Rhett. That would have been super easy, and they just didn't. And I get that mistakes are made during the production of these things, right? Okay, giving the player more direction would fundamentally change the way you interact with it in making it a less accurate conversion. But that's where I'm not convinced that accuracy is the primary virtue, if you like, because we are talking about an Ultima 6, right? I think it's one thing to say it is a fairly authentic port to Super Nintendo. There's no way it could be a 100% accurate port to Super Nintendo. There's no way, right? Because they're different systems. There's no way it could be a 100% accurate port. Therefore, I don't know that accuracy is the primary virtue. Now, maybe you assumed I'm saying accuracy is the primary virtue, but I'm not. I would say that making a game that's fun, engaging, accessible, easy to be understood, but capable of being understood. So like right now, like let's take this moment in time in the game, just for funsies, right? So like I understood that I needed to liberate the shrines. I got all the moonstones. What do I do next? Oh, I think it's again, I'm looking at things holistically. We could talk about the lack of direction, which is what I just raised right now. If the lack of direction can be justified by saying, well, on the PC version, people were expected to take notes and play for years and stuff. It's like, yeah, I get that, but that's not the PC version. We're talking about the Super Nintendo version. Did someone say stakes? Humility is the primary virtue. Saying that accuracy is some people's primary virtue, so the more they keep it the same, the more you complain. But the more they change it, the more other people complain? I don't know. I can't argue from other people's perspective on a primary virtue of accuracy. But I am complaining in this moment that I have no idea what to do. And that's been pretty common throughout this experience. That it's difficult to understand. It's difficult to understand what this game wants you to do. Like Wizardry 5, you could kind of work out, oh, this is a puzzle. Okay, or you could work out, I need to get to the bottom of the thing. In this game, it's difficult to understand that. Like, where do I go, right? Now, since I'm not somebody who says accuracy is the primary virtue in a port, you could very easily give the Super Nintendo player a little more guidance, knowing that Super Nintendo players do not treat RPGs like PC players did back then. And the people that want that fidelity, I like that term, the people that want that fidelity would have also already been familiar with the PC version. To them, this would have been redundant anyway. What if Chrono Trigger was ported to PC? Well, it was ported to PC. Chrono Trigger was ported to PC. Oh, at that time? I mean, well, you're looking at porting to a more powerful system, not a less, right? So, like, capitulations had to be made during the porting from a PC to Super Nintendo, but that doesn't hold water vice versa. It's not like they would have to reduce the things in Chrono Trigger in order to get it on PC, right? And I don't understand what the point of the question, though, is. What if Chrono Trigger had been fundamentally changed to appeal to PC gaming crowds? You'd have to say, like, are you expecting me to fly into a rage and be like, I can't believe they would change Chrono Trigger because accuracy is my primary virtue? Like, obviously, I wouldn't want them to dramatically change Chrono Trigger, but it certainly could be changed in order to fit, you know, the input system of a PC, which this game does a poor job of doing. You know, like map its features accurately to a mouse and keyboard, you know, or map it to a PC camera. Josh Pritt, how's it going? I do have a camera pointed at the CRT screen. Hello. Burp, 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 burp. Squish this guy right here. Josh Pritt, yeah, it's a CRT. It's a... yeah, it's what we do. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't see that that's the argument. Is that what you think my argument is, though? Because, hold on, I think that you're assuming that I'm holding a kind of a groupthink fandom belief that I don't actually hold. I just said that I think if they did port Chrono Trigger to PC in 1995, that they should actually make it work on that input system well. But it doesn't make sense to my mind to port it to a stronger system and then have to remove things from it like they did in Ultima 6. So therefore that doesn't seem like a perfect analogy anyway. Plus, in Ultima 6's case, porting from PC to Super Nintendo, they did have to change the input system, and they did it poorly. So I wouldn't advocate for them porting the input system, but making it more authentic to PC, because that doesn't make sense on a Super Nintendo. But port it to PC with better choices in design so that the input system makes more sense. But absolutely, if you were going to port Chrono Trigger to PC, make it fit a PC, but don't change it for the sake of just changing it. I don't know if that's what we're going with. These are the kind of conversations that get you out of bed in the morning, Mr. Tepper. But I'm trying to figure out what Cinco Play actually thinks my belief is. And Smart Sarge, both of you guys asked about porting Chrono Trigger. Like, so look at. No, I'm not hyper focused on input systems. I literally said earlier, direction in the game, the plot in the game. That I'm talking about a specific example of the porting process. But I've already mentioned several things that this port changes. So I'm not only purely talking about input systems. But that would be something that I would advocate for changing in a Chrono Trigger port to PC in 1995. So I'm giving you a specific example. Can't really input this conversation. I don't really play PC games. But yeah, case in point, Chrono Trigger was on PC today. They botched that port too. When that thing first dropped on Steam, it was rough. Woof. No, and I brought up input systems to address this kind of, accuracy being primary type thing, which I don't buy anyway. Because we were talking about accuracy. Input systems is something that I've raised. Lack of direction is something that I've raised. There's quite a lot in this game that is like, I don't understand. Like, if you're defending this game as a kind of, iffy port, or that it's better for being authentic, even though that may make it less fun to play on this system. I guess I'm unsure why you're wanting to die on this hill. But there is too little direction in this game. And I spent a couple moments here kind of going back around talking to various people, and nobody really seems to give a crap in game about what to do. And it's kind of hinged on what Mr. Temper was saying earlier with exploration. This game is not fun to explore. The world is very samey. The world does not have a ton of detail in it. Its dual teleportation systems are not easy to understand, even after reading through the manual a couple times. So you're saying Ultima was intended to be played like an adventure game like Myst, which also had too little direction, but people loved that play pattern at the time. So you're defending it for its time. And I get that you're talking about the PC version, but the reason why I'm talking about a port is because that misalignment, again, we're not talking about the PC version in which people would camp, for a year and play through these games. You're talking about a system that was marketed to young children. You're talking about a system that, was largely supported by rentals in some areas. It's a huge, like what I said earlier, was a huge missed high five. It is a really bizarre choice. And that's why I said, too, that it is bizarre that they chose to port Ultima 6 first. Why did they not choose to port Ultima 4 first? To give some of that additional context. Unintended context. Or, I'm sorry, not unintended. Intended context is dramatically missing from this port. Now, if we were talking about the PC game, I think that would be significantly different. But I would hazard a guess that this, excuse me, that this Ultima 6 False Prophet for Super Nintendo was not well received on Super Nintendo for the reasons that I gave just now. I don't know that you're fundamentally changing a game for its audience, but you are changing a game for its audience. And I fully admitted that you would change Chrono Trigger for the new format. But it's not a perfect analogy because a PC to console is a downward step in limitation, whereas a console to PC it doesn't have the same restrictions. But if you're suggesting that Chrono Trigger, should have been changed in the mid 90s hypothetically, to be like this without direction, just so that people could have the fun of taking their notes and drawing maps and stuff like that. I don't see that that's necessary. And it's a hypothetical end of day anyway. Like I guess the closest thing I could think of is like, they did port Final Fantasy VII to PC. Man, they didn't make it more like Ultima, I'll tell you that. I don't know. See, okay, so now we're getting to it. Because I was like assuming, I'm wondering what Cinco Play thinks my opinion is that he is arguing with so vehemently. I'm not arguing that they should have fundamentally changed it, sir. One, it was changed significantly, I've said on previous streams. This game was already changed significantly for the SNES. And they could have changed it, because they did change it, in a way that was a lot more competent than they did. The port is certainly misinformed. It's already changed. I mean, I'm not even advocating... I don't even have to advocate for more change. It is already changed. There's significant... Like, if they port Chrono Trigger to PC and added point-and-click adventure elements, I mean, what a ridiculous hypothetical. That's not even remotely analogous to what they're doing here. Do you honestly think that they changed genres in Ultima 6 from PC to Ultima 6 on Super Nintendo? And yet now you're asking me to accept a ridiculous hypothetical that if they ported Chrono Trigger to PC and added point-and-click adventure elements, would you be happy then? It's a ridiculous... I mean, get out of here with these ridiculous, silly, hypothetical situations. Let me concoct the most bizarre situation. If Hitler ported Chrono Trigger to PC, would you be happy then? It's insane. It's insane. Okay, come on. It's ridiculous. Feel like making an argument, at least in part, for changing Ultima 6 to appeal more to the typical SNES player. No, I'm not, actually. I'm appealing for making more refined, making better choices, because they changed it anyway, right? It's not changing whole genres like Single Play seems to think, but they're changing Ultima 6 from PC to Ultima 6 on Super Nintendo. That involves change already, right? And if they're going to make those changes at all, make it fit the system that it appears on, not necessarily just to appeal to the typical SNES player, but to be a fun game, period. I mean, that's one. I don't think that we could probably make a distinction between appealing to a specific audience, which is what marketing is, as well as trying to make a competent and enjoyable game. I think the point was that lots of signposting fundamentally changes the game. The confusion, lack of direction is part of it. Oh, I'm too more of my own beliefs. You just asked me something ridiculous. What if they changed Chrono Trigger into a point-and-click adventure? And now you're going to clutch your pearls? I don't think so. You're just mad that I get to yell, and you don't. All you get to do is type with your little thumblets on your phone. This is hugely enjoyable, and it is absolutely... Like, I get to write a book on this. And obviously, I don't publicly shame anybody in my book, but I get to write a book on this. Book comes out tomorrow, everybody. You should buy it. Here's the latest. Here's the latest from it. Like, I'm not even remotely bothered. These are like two in your own beliefs to keep emotion out of this combo. You're using, like, you just used 4 sideways laughing emojis with tears. You don't get to tell me about keeping emotion out of this combo. Let's see. So how would you feel if you made Chrono Trigger less linear, less signposting, added a karma alignment system, or brought it closer to the AD&D style? Again, I don't understand the point of these hypotheticals. That's not what happened in Ultima 6's case, and we're talking about Ultima 6. If you want to craft a hypothetical that is actually what happened with Ultima 6 being ported to Super Nintendo, I'd be delighted to talk about that. But like, you know, if you're going to be like, what if they ported Chrono Trigger and turned it into a Doom clone? I don't have anything to say about that. I don't. It's so far out there in hypothetical land that it doesn't even exist. But what I have said is I think anytime there's a port, it should fit the system that it's on. And those changes that are made should be competent changes. There's quite a few changes in this that are not. Now, if we're going to talk about lack of direction, Big Joe said it at the top of the argument before we started doing back and forth. He said that could be hard to sort out, something like that, because of the things that were stripped from this game. So now we're not just talking about, you know, changes to the input or lack of direction. We're talking about, you know, reams of character dialogue. We're talking about ways in which you interact with characters. You're talking about characters becoming less memorable because they don't have character portraits. You're talking about a whole wealth of changes, because there are significant changes made to Ultima 6 that maybe don't represent the most competent possible changes that you could make. And that's my actual point. It is not just... It's certainly not they should have kept it as identical to PC as possible. For one, that's impossible. And it's not that they should have made it, you know, more appealing to young boys by dramatically changing everything about that. I think that's more actually Ultima Black Gate, which we'll see how that plays when that comes about. This is a fun and competent port. I have never dragged this through the mud in like the 7 or 8 days that I've played Ultima 6 on stream. I've never been like, oh, this is trash. This is a dumpster fire. Like the kinds of things that you actually, like you actually get, you know, from video game criticism today. I've not gone that route because I don't think that's true. I really significantly do not think that's true. But there's degrees. We don't need to be super binary about this. We don't have to think in only black and white terms. We can think of all the possible changes that could have been made, that could have either made this more or less authentic, but also more or less fun to play on a Super Nintendo. And that doesn't mean, you know, change it so hugely that it's unrecognizable, not even the same genre. And that doesn't mean keep it so close to the PC version that it's virtually identical. What happened with Ultima 6 has got a fairly faithful port. You're asking for a less faithful port. I think exactly what I just said summarizes what I mean. I'm not asking for a less faithful port de facto. Not at all. It absolutely has its own problems. I take a bait when I start. Hey, I can start talking as fast as you want. I can. But if you're going to bust out the laughing emojis on me, I can bust out my own laughing emojis. I just don't get to type them. So, and if you're going to throw ridiculous hypotheticals at me, yeah, I'm going to mock you for that because I think that is silly. What if Hitler made Ultima 6 for Super Nintendo? Get out of town. Anyway, so I'm not advocating, I'm not saying, oh, they should have made Ultima 6 less faithful on on a Super Nintendo. I'm absolutely not saying that. I'm not saying they should have made Ultima 6 more faithful. I'm saying they should have made it better. That's different. Because again, I don't think faithfulness is the primary virtue in a port. I don't. And there are billions of possible design choices that they could have made that could result in a more faithful or less faithful port that could have been more fun than this. That's where I'll tie the bow on that. I'm glad I had that cup of coffee today. That was good. That was good. Y'all thought you had me with the point and click Chrono Trigger hypothetical. Not you got to get up pretty early in the day to pull a fast one on this Red Mage. Let me tell you. Now you're critiquing the design of Ultima 6, not the SNES port. No. What? I'm absolutely critiquing the port. I have not played Ultima 6 on PC. I've played the port of Ultima 6. And that's where we'll have to tie it up. Thanks for the discussion, my friends. I think everybody's had enough. So tomorrow the book launches. I promise you there will be more concise, and I should have pulled a Jordan Peterson at some point. And be like, what do you mean by port? That would have been handy. When the book launches tomorrow, there will be more concise language for anybody that wants it. There will be discussion of video game design. There will be things to say. People are like, well, what is it? This book is a collection of essays examining these games from a perspective of history, culture, philosophy, even theology in some cases, because there is a lot of theology in these games. I absolutely know for sure that nobody has written a book like this before. This is not the same thing like the excellent JRPG book that Bitmap Books has put out. Hey, I don't have the camera on me, and my little avatar here doesn't have a forehead vein throb. But you could try tomorrow. Here's what we're gonna do tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna do a variety stream to celebrate. We're gonna go through every single. We're gonna pop in every single. Oh, you can hear it throbbing. That might be your jugular vein, my friend. We got one to bring it up. Steam Deck again. I already won that one like twice, dude. Twice. I did not write about the Steam Deck in here. I also didn't write about porting Chrono Trigger to become a point-and-click adventure ported by Hitler or anything like that. Oh, no, I know I did. But yeah, tomorrow we'll probably do a variety stream, and we'll play through a little bit of the intro of every single RPG appearing in this book, starting from 7th Saga. Fingers crossed that all the things will work. Tomorrow at Eastern Time, there will be the pre-orders launching, so keep an eye out for that. The product page goes off tomorrow. There should be a trailer for the book. I'm not sure when that's going to launch, but we'll probably watch that together as well. So it'll be a bit of a fun day. Plus tomorrow's my anniversary. I don't know why. Like I'm vastly mean to some of you in chat. Because if you want to pick a fight, I will rise to the occasion. But I could be hugely mean to some of you in chat. You still come back for more. I don't know why, but you must like the grilled steak flavor. So that's what you're gonna get. All you need to beat Wizardry 5 now. That's the hardest. You should beat it. That's a fun game. It's brutal though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough. Bibes, I'll see you tomorrow. Bring your guns if you wanna talk debate tomorrow. Bring it. I love it. That's the stuff that gets me out of bed in the morning. It's good, especially when you win. All right, kisses. I'll see you later. Thanks very much, everybody. All right, hugs. Bye bye.